to Steelers camp. First take on the road, day 2 of our training camp tour. We are at St. Vincent College. Now we're seeing the dorms there. So Ryan, do you have roommates when you stay there? Because you stayed there.
You do. Your first 5 years you do, and then you get to be the big time guy.
And you get your own.
In
a twin bed.
Room.
And you guys are in those twin beds. You might be pushing them together.
I jumped out of it my first year. Had a bad dream.
I don't blame you. All right, welcome back, everybody. We're going to start here. We have some power rankings. Sports Illustrated released their annual preseason power rankings as we head into the NFL season. So take a listen here. You can see the list right up there. Leading the pack is the Cardinals, followed by the Panthers, Steelers at number 3, Patriots at 4, and number 5 is the Broncos. Stephen A., let's start with you. Steelers number 3. Is that where you think they belong?
No, I do not. I don't think the Steelers should be any higher than 6th or 5. I mean, I think about obviously Arizona and Carolina. I think the Patriots should be ahead of them. I think the Packers should be ahead of them. I think the Seahawks should be ahead of them. I think Jordy Nelson going back to Aaron Rodgers and the Green Bay Packers helps them significantly. I think that when you look at not just the Seahawks, the Packers, but when you look at the Seahawks, Russell Wilson and those boys and what they've been able to do, they just tanked it in the first half against Carolina. That hurt them significantly in that divisional playoff game. But I think that they're going to be just as formidable this year because I see a maturation process continuing to shine as it pertains to Russell Wilson. I look at the New England Patriots. I think the acquisition of Martellus Bennett is huge because you got that 2 tight end set with him and Rob Gronkowski. The fact that they lost Brandon LaFell and he's in Cincinnati, who cares? The bottom line is they got Gronk with Martellus Bennett. I think that helps them significantly. Carolina is Carolina, and on top of it all, Kelvin Benjamin is back, looking bigger, stronger, faster than ever. And of course, Arizona is no joke. And now that they've re-upped Tyrann Mathieu, which we just finished talking about, I think that helps them as well. And Carson Palmer is no joke, even though at times he can appear to be in particular pivotal moments in the postseason. Bottom line is he can play this game. We see what happens. But the reason why I also, and the primary reason why I believe that the Pittsburgh Steelers are too high is because even with Martavis Bryant out and Le'Veon Bell is scheduled to miss 4 games, I look at the Steelers' offense still as a juggernaut, but their defense is suspect. They missed this brother right here. They miss a few other guys, and I look at them right now, and I'm just not satisfied. Their passing game was anemic. I know they've drafted on the defensive side of the ball. They've gotten younger. They've gotten some speed. I get that. Jarvis Jones still a huge question mark. Shazier and Timmons and those boys, we'll see what happens along with Stephon Tuitt. I'm just looking at them right now, and even though they have elements in their defense where you have individuals who can play, by and large, I look at the Steelers' defense having a lot to prove. I told this to Coach Tomlin last year. Come here when I came down here to interview him last year. And I'm telling you right now, I got questions about your defense. He said, we going to be all right, Steve. I said, I'm telling you, Coach, that damn passing defense, I still haven't recovered from Tim Tebow throwing a touchdown pass against
don't bring that up. Come on.
You can ask him again.
Don't do that. Don't do that.
I'm
just saying, those are my concerns about the Steelers. You cannot be a top 3 team in the NFL power rankings when your defense is such a huge question mark. That's my problem.
I'll say this. Let's start with the Steelers. They hope that they addressed the secondary in the draft, the corner in the first round and the safety in the second round. They hope, but you never know when you're doing it through the draft.
Still a rookie.
The jury is out still on that. It remains to be seen. You're right. I brought it up last segment. In terms of yards allowed, the average Super Bowl winner is 7th defense, 8th offense. This is a lopsided offensive team, at least on paper. And while in the beginning of last season I thought they had a chance to be the greatest offense of all time. I mean, you think about it, their O-line was playing out of control in the preseason, at least for what that's worth. They had some continuity there. You have Le'Veon Bell, who I believed at the time was the best running back in the game when he's on the field. Adrian Peterson's going and Gurley's coming. But right now it's Le'Veon Bell's time when he's on the field, and he's only the 3rd best offensive player on the team because they got Antonio Brown and Ben Roethlisberger, who, by the way, when we bring up the best quarterbacks in football, it's Cam, it's Aaron Rodgers, it's Tom Brady.
Better put Ben's name in there.
Roethlisberger's name isn't in there, but you can make a damn good argument year in and year out that he's just as good as anyone, and with the money on the line, maybe that's the guy you want. He's a Hall of Famer. That said, so all that said, you're right. It's lopsided, and the offense doesn't look like as big a juggernaut to start this season because because Martavis Bryant is gone for the season, and that's their other threat on the other side of Antonio Brown. And Darius Hayward-Bay has never panned out quite to be the threat you wished, and you're not going to have Le'Veon Bell for 4 games. All that said, as I said in the last segment, in terms of the history of the modern NFL and the Super Bowl era, if you have the top scoring offense, and the Steelers might, you get to the Super Bowl almost half the time. It's 46% of the time.
That means
you get to the Super Bowl.
You don't.
Okay, but that's top.
It's a high percentage.
They got a shot for that.
It's a high percentage.
Now I'll say this: the one team I don't think you can put ahead of this. I don't mind them being 4th. I think you have to give the Patriots the benefit of the doubt. Brady's going to miss not 4 games, not the whole season. If you have Brady for most of the season, the 2 tight end set, not any 2 tight ends either, with Belichick, I think you always have to make them the odds-on favorite in the AFC. I would say the Steelers can go right after them.
That's why I put them. I say they're 4th. And here's the other thing, though. If we're talking about, let's look at the numbers, just look at the teams. You look at Arizona and you say, okay, yeah, this team, the way they're stacked on paper now with Johnson being the bell cow in the backfield, he's a great running back. Not a good young running back, a great young running back. And catch the ball out of the backfield. That defense was stout. You look at the Carolina Panthers. They are Carolina. I expect Cam to come back this year. And the loss of Josh Norman, we're going to see it's not going to be a big deal defensively. The Pittsburgh Steelers have something, though, to me, that the Arizona Cardinals don't. They have Ben Roethlisberger. And we can talk about Carson Palmer and the year he had and the numbers he put up. But when the money was on the line, when Carson Palmer had to be the guy, he couldn't be. And that's who he's been throughout his career.
Ding, ding, ding. No, he's right. Carson Palmer choked under pressure. That's the top-rated team, right? You're talking about the Cardinals. Second, the Panthers, their bet last year at least, their best receiver was the tight end. Their best running back was the quarterback. It's not like they're flawless teams ahead of the Steelers.
You're missing a point, and here's what the point I think both of you are missing. Dare I say, Ryan Clark, a former Steeler, you might be missing something here. I hear where you're coming from about Carson Palmer. One could make the argument that despite the choke job that he put forth, they still were a better team than the Steelers from a complete perspective because of what I said about the Steelers defense. I am shocked that my man Ryan Clark, former Steeler, champion, did not bring this point up. Have you forgotten who they're playing? I mean, don't they have to go against the Baltimore Ravens twice? Don't they have to go against Vontaze Burfict and the Cincinnati Bengals twice? Oh, by the way,
Vontaze Burfict, the guy who handed them the playoff game?
I know he lost it, but not during the regular season.
Ray Lewis and Ed Reed are not walking through the door of M&T Stadium.
I will not.
They're not walking through the door.
They still beat the Steelers without them last year.
They're not walking through the door.
Did they beat the Steelers without them last year?
The Steelers were a wide receiver away from beating the Denver Broncos.
Well, no, but it is true. Like, they have a built-in rival that it means more in that rivalry than the Arizona does or Carolina does.
Arizona, the Carolina, the kind of competition they have to face in the NFC South. Okay, don't get me started with that. I'm just looking at it from the standpoint that the road to prosperity is far more difficult for the Steelers than some of those other teams.
Just trying to build it up so they get more credit when they win.
You guys have them. Brian, here's my question though. You guys have them both around 4, right? The Patriots, but but you were saying Packers and Seahawks. So you don't have Packers or Seahawks ahead of the Steelers?
I think the Packers will be better this year. Obviously, Jordy Nelson was a huge loss for them, and I think Aaron Rodgers is the best overall quarterback in the league. But I don't like the way that offense looked without him. I don't know if Jordy brings them back to what they were. Aaron wasn't what they were. You talk about lines, this line compared to that Packer line, loads and loads of difference.
If you gave Aaron Rodgers real protection, it is on.
No doubt. He's the best.
He had enough when he played us in the Super Bowl.
Yes, he did.
Speaking of it being on, it is on for the Cowboys. Unfortunately, they are back in the headlines for the wrong reasons. We will tell you the latest when we come back. First Take, the players are out there working out here at Steelers training camp in Latrobe, Pennsylvania. More First Take when we return.
Give me the green light.